Hey, what's up everyone? This is Mr. Schwarman. I'm going to be recording a quick video to help you see how you can design and arrange a flat pack stool here in Fusion. So we're going to look at how to design them, such as this circular stool shown here, along with how to arrange them flat so that we can then get ready to cut them out on the ShopBot. So I'll show you very briefly this circular style stool along with a rectangular stool. So I'm going to make a new design, and here's how I would think about making the circular stool. I create a sketch on the bottom plane, create a circle. I'll make it the maximum diameter allowed in the constraints of 12 inches. Zoom out so I can see it. And honestly, that's it. I'm going to finish my sketch, click the home icon to see it in 3D, and I'm going to extrude that circle. And I'm going to extrude it specifically 0.75 inches. The reason I'm doing that is this is, again, being made out of our 3/4 inch MDF. So while I can make the circle as big as I want within the constraints, I really can't make it any thicker than 0.75 because that's the maximum thickness of the material I'm cutting into. It's got to be flat. So I click OK, boom, I have the top of my stool. Then, here is what I would do to get my legs. I'm going to show you a few things. First, I'm going to create a sketch, and I'm going to select it on this front-facing plane. And I don't know if you can tell, but since I made my circle right on the origin, this is right in the middle of my circle. So I'm going to make this sketch on the middle, and then I'm going to use a tool called Project Geometry, which is a really nice tool. So I'm going to click Create, Project, Project, and select on my object. See how it highlights? I click it, click OK, and now I see these lines and these points have showed up. These are now actually part of my sketch. So now even if I hide that first body, I can see its outline here. This is really useful because now when I'm going to make my leg, let's say I'm going to make a pretty simple like angled leg, and I'll worry about the dimensions later, but I'll just make it look kind of nice. Now I know that this leg is going to go to the top of my stool. Like I'm not worried about that because I know it locked in. Now I'll dimension this leg a few ways. Here's a few things I'm going to do. I'm going to dimension from the top to the bottom. The max vertical height allowed is 7 inches, so I'll make it the max. I'll make it 7. Let's say I want it to be, I don't know, 2 inches thick. I'll make it 2, and I'll make the top 2 as well. I could also use a constraint to make these lines parallel. So now I can kind of slide it back and forth. So I still need to dimension how far it is, say, from the end. So let's make that maybe 2.5. And now it's still getting a blue line. Oh, my angle's not really set. So what could I do to set that? Again, I'm kind of eyeballing this, but let's say from here to here. Oh, gotta escape out. When in doubt, escape out. Dimension from this point to this point. I'll make that. Let's just make it look at about 2 inches. Now it's black. Now it's locked in. So now I'm going to finish that sketch. I'm going to view the body again so I see it. See what I'm doing here. Okay. Now this one's kind of tough to imagine, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude it. And I want to get both parts of it because I want this whole thing to be the leg. And because this is in the middle and I want it to be centered, I'm not going to do a one-side extrusion. I'm actually going to do a symmetric extrusion. So I'm going to click symmetric. And because I know I want the entire width to be 0.75, I'm going to click on whole length and tell it 0.75. And it'll figure out, then each way has to go 0.75 or half of 0.75 from the middle. See here how it shows me the whole thing is going to be 0.75, but centered on that center line. That's why it's symmetric. It is auto assuming that I want to do a cut. I don't want to do a cut. I want to make a new body. This is going to be a separate piece from the stool head is the stool leg. So I'm going to click OK. And now I've got that. Now the issue is if I hide my stool head, I've got a stool leg. And if I hide my stool leg, I got a stool head. They are intersecting right here. These two things are taking up the same place. That's not what I want. What I want to do is cut a hole in the head of the stool. So what I'm going to do, I want to do that. I want to make my legs. I'm changing my mind. I'm going to make all my legs first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Create, Pattern, Circular pattern is really, really useful. And I will select on my bodies, I'll select on this body, the axis about which I want to rotate. I could pick a vertical axis like the blue Z axis, or what's oftentimes easier is pick the circle I want. So I'm highlighting on this circular edge, and I do want it to go all the way around, so full is fine, and 3 is actually how many legs I had in my design, so this looks perfect. 3 legs all the way around. Now if I wanted more legs, I could simply up it, and it'll match it. I could have 6 legs if I wanted to. But I'll stick with 3 legs all the way around. Click OK. But now we're still at this issue where my legs and my body are taking up the same space. The way I can fix that is with the Combine tool up here in Modify. Combine is pretty nifty. So my target body is going to be the stool head. I'm changing the stool head. So I'm going to click on the stool bed. And then the tool bodies are my 3 legs. So it auto goes to tool bodies. So I'll pick on leg 1, leg 2, leg 3. Because the legs are going into the stool head, they're assuming I want to cut. If yours doesn't, I would just make sure you switch to cut. And then you want to make sure Keep Tools is selected. If Keep Tools is unselected, these legs will just go away. They're only used for the cut, but I want to keep them. So I click OK. And now, it might look the same, but if I hide those 3 legs, what I see is they actually cut into the stool top, which is great. That's what I want. And so that's a pretty simple kind of design we could do. The second thing we want to be able to do is to take this flat design, or this design in 3D, and put it into a flat format. So the easiest way to do that is going to require a few steps. First, you're going to want to create a sketch on really any plane. This doesn't matter too much, just somewhere nearby. And just make a rectangle. I'm going to make my rectangle 18 inches by 24 inches. The reason I'm doing that is 18 inches is 1.5 feet, 24 inches is 2 feet, so that's 2 feet by 1.5 feet. That's 3 square feet, which is our maximum amount of material. So I'm going to make my 24 by 18 wood envelope. You might not know what we're using that for, you'll see soon. Then, what you're going to need to do is click Extensions up here. Make sure you have this Nesting and Fabrication Extension. Mine's already active because I'm using it. But yours will look something like this, and you'll click it, and you'll just click Start Axis. Like it says, education users get free access for 30 days, but you can just always keep reusing it. There's no harm to do it. It's free. Every 30 days, you can just keep re-adding it. So you can click Nesting and Fabrication. I've already got it active. You would click Activate. Once you have it, what you'll see is in the Modify menu, you'll see a tool called Arrange. Arrange is really, really nice for when we want to do these flat designs on something like the laser cutter or the Shopbot. So I can click Arrange. My components are going to be my... Oh, I skipped a step because it can only select components, and these aren't components yet. I got to go back, so I cancel. I'm going to select all my bodies, go right-click, Create Components from Bodies. Now they're components. The difference is, remember, components are like physical things. I can move them, whereas bodies are simply the geometry. But now I can go back to that Modify, Arrange, Components. Now I can pick on my 3 components. Envelopes, Sketch Face. I'm going to click that Sketch Face there, and it'll show up. And now I was pretty careless when I clicked on my components, and you'll see how this one is not the flat edge. So I'm going to go back. Which one did I not click on? Right. This one, component 2. So I'm going to unclick that. See how I clicked on this edge? Not what I want. So I'm going to unclick it and make sure I click on the flat edge and be more careful. And now I should see that they're all arranged on their flat. And the good thing is we can see that these all fit. You know, these all fit within our 2 by 1.5 envelope. So it's certainly less than 3 feet. So then I can click OK. And that's it. And the benefit of this is that now we can take this envelope, and that'll let us eventually make our tool pass like we saw here, where we can simulate the machine. It can go on this flat envelope and cut through it. That's kind of why we do that. And so that's it. You can design a tool or design a stool with 3/4 inch extrusions and the pattern tool, and then use the Modify Arrange extension to get them on a flat envelope. and then it's ready to be machined.